You have this agenda to censor everybody who's challenging the narrative. So we see this with Google-owned YouTube, all these companies. And we saw it with Twitter. Twitter was censoring people like crazy because Twitter was a cult company, just like Facebook is. Look at the background of Facebook and Google and see who was involved. People like DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon, and CIA through QT or In-Q-Tel, their technological development arm for surveillance technology, the CIA. So the cult's got Twitter, and it's doing exactly what it wants people at Twitter to do, which is to censor. And then along comes free speech absolutist, you're not, Elon Musk, to buy Twitter. Then he decides, after announcing it, that there's too many bots or all this stuff, so I'm not buying it. Twitter, owned by the cult that he's censoring like crazy on behalf of the cult, then takes Musk to court to force him to buy it. And he comes in, he who's ticking every other box of the cult's agenda with his companies, comes in and takes it over. Why would the cult sell Twitter to Musk if Musk really is about free speech? And what I would say to people is take a breath and watch how this plays out. Because one of the possible scenarios, I'll just give it as a possible scenario, is that he starts giving free speech to some people that were banned, not me it seems, or Alex Jones and people like that. And then the regulators kick in. And the EU's already saying it, and justifying new draconian laws to censor free speech on the internet, using the excuse that we've got to stop Twitter allowing people to say what they think, at least up to a point. And like I say, after 33 years of experience of doing this, unless you absolutely know, because of what you've researched before, that something's like this, hold your fire and just see where it goes. And I'll be very interested where this goes, because Twitter, taken over by Musk to give people free speech, given his background and the Twitter's background before of ownership by the cult, makes no sense whatsoever on the basis of that's what he's going to do for that reason. Going back to Musk, who is one of the predominant people driving the driverless car, electric vehicle agenda. Musk, what else is he doing? Oh yeah, the plan is to, and it's already happening, to create what I called decades ago a technologically generated electromagnetic field that encompasses the Earth. And they call that now the smart grid. And the idea is to create what these insiders call, when they're selling it, the cloud, where every inch of the planet is covered by this technologically generated electromagnetic. We could go further with that and how they are seeking to connect humans and the human brain to that field. So it becomes a technologically generated sub-reality. Okay, how do you hit every inch of the planet with this electromagnetic field of 5G and 6G and 7G? You can't do it with towers. You can do it in communities with towers. You can't cover every inch of the planet with towers. You've got to do it from space. So what they're doing is putting thousands and thousands, they've already got permission for tens of thousands, though permission's not a problem because the cult owns the regulatory agencies, of low orbit satellites firing 5G and 6G, 7G to come at the Earth, so that people, this is the excuse, people in the Sahara Desert, for instance, can get access to CNN and Google, right? But it's not for that at all. It's to create this electromagnetic, technologically generated sub-reality that's meant to impact upon our minds and perceptions. So who is leading the rush to put tens of thousands of low orbit satellites to fire this stuff at the Earth and every inch of the Earth? Elon Musk. Then Musk comes out a few years ago now and said that AI could be the end of humanity. And I've been pointing that out for a very long time, long before he did. But that's the idea, that humanity as we know it is no more. And so what you going to do, Mr. Musk, about AI being connected to the human brain, which you say could be the end of humanity, certainly as we know it? Well, what I'm going to do, says Elon Musk, is I'm going to start a company called Neuralink, and I'm going to connect the human brain to computers. And he's just announced this week that he's confident that very soon they're going to be able to start human trials. So then there's another agenda, which I've been writing about for a long time, which is to force people into micro homes. These are going up all over the world, that are very, very small, very tiny. And who's producing micro homes now? Oh, Tesla, Elon Musk. So when I look at Elon Musk, I look at actions, not words. And I see that he, in his companies he fronts up, SpaceX, the satellites, Tesla, the cars and the homes, and Neuralink, he is ticking and pushing and promoting and driving major elements of this cult agenda that I've been exposing for decades.
You mentioned a few politicians, and I want to get your thoughts on Rishi Sunak here, who's running the UK now, and the very short Truss government, as well as what's happened in America with Trump announcing and Ron DeSantis. But before we get to that, Elon Musk has recently taken over Twitter to make it the bastion of free speech in his mind.
Has he? All right.
And I want to get your thoughts here, because he might even give you your account back. What do you make of Elon Musk taking over Twitter? And from, the outside looking in, it looks like he's giving back a lot of free speech elements that were taken away by the Googles and Facebooks.
Well, by their actions show ye know them. First of all, my son Gareth appealed as soon as he took over, just to test it out, appealed to have my account restored, which was taken down in the spring of 2020 because
when everything was taken
I told
down,
the
right?
truth about COVID.
That's when your Facebook was taken down.
Yeah, the whole
your YouTube
bloody
was
lot,
taken
yeah.
down.
Anyway, and someone said to him, well, that might take a little while, so why don't you just start a new account? So he did. And apparently he put just hello on it, and it got 20,000 responses, so he tells me. And it lasted about 12 hours, I think, and Twitter took it down. And then eventually, it was about a week ago now, Twitter responded to the application to have my original account restored, and they said no. Musk was asked on Twitter if he would restore Alex Jones, and he said no. Now, there's something going on here, and it's very important when you're looking at the world not to judge everything in the moment, because you can get scammed that way. You sit back and you see how it plays out, but there's certain things, these are questions that I have about Elon Musk. Let's look again, know the outcome and you'll see the journey. One element of the cult agenda is to get rid of petrol and diesel cars, not least through the manipulation of the price of energy, but they're actually doing it by law now, and bring in electric vehicles. Now, two things to that. One, three things to that. One, electric vehicles are environmental disasters in terms of their batteries and everything, and where the materials come from, and what people in Africa suffer, even little kids, mining for the stuff. And two, if you're going to have computer-controlled cars, they can't be petrol or diesel, they've got to be electric. And the reason you want autonomous driverless vehicles run by a computer is because the computer then decides where you can go and where you can't. If the computer in the car is programmed that you can't go here and you can't go there, that car will not take you there. So it's all about control. And by the way, what they're doing in Britain for people around the world is what we have on our motorways, the American version of freeways, are, or have been up to this point, is the running lanes where people travel really fast. And on the left-hand side, you have the emergency lane, or what's known in Britain as the hard shoulder. And if you break down in the running lanes, you get out of the running lanes so you're not smacked from behind, and you get onto the hard shoulder. What they're doing is creating something called smart motorways, which are stupid, but there's method in the madness. They are taking out the emergency lane and making it a running lane. And quite a lot of people already have died because they've broken down in the running lane that was the hard shoulder, and they've been hit behind by a truck or something. So why are they doing it? It's madness. It's dangerous. Yes, it is. But what they're doing is they're preparing the motorway system for autonomous cars. That's what it's about. And the third point about electric vehicles is they're not meant to replace all the diesel and petrol vehicles, because they're too bloody expensive for a start. Most people can't afford them. The idea is you get rid of petrol and diesel vehicles and you get people out of car ownership. And that's great because it saves the world from climate change and that nasty gas of life, carbon dioxide. And so you limit their ability to move and travel. This is a major element of the Great Reset.